Shell Max house, the clock face on that building, it's actually 2 foot larger than the one that's on the Houses of Parliament. To give you an idea about how big that clock face is, if you take a look at the minute hand there, it does take a whole hour just to go around once. It's massive, isn't it? Now this next bridge, this is the Waterloo Road Bridge. This is the ladies' bridge of the River Thames. Over 95% of the workforce, they were female when this bridge was under construction. So it has been faced in a very expensive self-cleaning Portland stone. Every time it rains here in London, this bridge, it does clean itself. So the exterior, this is kind of clean. The underside, especially the middle, is absolutely filthy in comparison. And looking by the turn of the weather, ladies and gents, it might have a bit of a clean later. Everyone's stopping at the moment, but to the right, so this grey building with the electronic sign, this is the National Theatre. This is London's pride and joy. Unfortunately, the National Theatre, it does get voted one of London's ugliest buildings every year by leading architects. Even King Charles himself, he once said on a live television broadcast that that building looks like a monstrous carbuncle. And let's face it, that man does know a thing or two about ugly. Don't he? No, I'm not that horrible. I'm not that horrible. I'm talking about ugly buildings. I'm not that horrible. To the left, there's a white vessel with a yellow funnel. So that's the Wellington. Wellington was formerly part of the New Zealand Navy. It's now just a floating hub for retired sea captains. At the stern of the Wellington, at the back of the boat, beneath the trees, there's a column, a grey stone column. The Temple Gate and Arch is a boundary marker for 2 cities. We're now leaving the city of Westminster. We are now entering the 1 square mile capital city of London itself. If you look to the left, look on the roadside beneath the trees, just come into view. There's 2 silver griffins. Those 2 silver griffins, they are placed there to defend the city of London from all evil. Now, I for one, I know they do not work. My ex-girlfriend walks through there pretty much every day. Evil. Trust me. To the right, we have an orange building. This is the Oxo Tower. That's where they once made the famous little stock queue, better known as Mum's Gravy. It's not made there anymore. The first 2 floors of shops, there's some luxury, unaffordable housing in the middle. And at the top, there's a lovely, very expensive restaurant by the name of Harvey Nichols. If you look to the left, there's a large construction site. London is building a super sewage system at the moment. It's a £4.3 billion super sewage system, the Thames Tideway Tunnel. And we'll move on from sewage. The next bridge, this is the Blackfriars Road Bridge. Look at the buttresses of this bridge. So there's 2 to the left, 2 to the right, that have these things that look like church pulpits. They was placed here under the express wish of Queen Victoria. This was to commemorate a Dominican monastery which stood to the left-hand side back in the days. The monks wore habits of black, hence the name Blackfriars. But there's 3 bridges here. Nowhere on this river will you find 3 bridges this close together. They quite often get referred to as the Tunnel of Love. It is said if you turn to a loved one, give them a quick kiss as you go through these bridges, it will grant you many years of happiness. If you're not with a loved one today, you've always got your husband or your wife. If there's any single women, you're more than welcome to come and give me a quick kiss. Any single men? right, the captain, he's a very open-minded young man, and he gets very lonely in there driving the boat. We don't really talk to each other, us two, so he gets very lonely in there, don't ya? To the left-hand side, we've got the magnificent dome of St Paul's Cathedral. It's a Christopher Wren's masterpiece, completed in 1710. Took 35 years to be built. That's the second largest unsupported cathedral dome in the world, only second to St Peter's in the Vatican City. If you look to the right, oh, look at that. Look up there. I don't see that every day. That's a plane. What sort of plane? No idea. Anyway, back to the right. Back to the right, that brown building, this is the old Bankside Power Station. The old Bankside Power Station, it now houses the Tate Modern Arts Gallery. The Tate Modern Arts Gallery is free to enter. If you've ever seen modern art, you'll know why that's free. In all honesty, the last time that I had a walk round there, I see some things like some beer cans, and there was an unmade bed. I have that at home. I'm trying to convince my missus that it's art, but she won't have none of it, let me tell you that. To the right, we have a circular white building with timber frames and a thatched roof. This is the replica of Shakespeare's Globe and Playhouse Theatre. That's the only building in London to have a thatched roof since the Great Fire. You can see all Shakespearean plays acted out in period dress throughout the year. So it's an open air theatre. If it rains, you will get wet. You won't find no modern day electronics in there, no one with any microphones, anything like that. It's all just done in the traditional setting. I highly recommend it. The next bridge in front of us, so this is the Southwark Road Bridge, one of the most underused bridges here in London for pedestrians. They do say that the approach roads to this bridge, they're so well hidden in the back streets of London that not many Londoners know this bridge exists. If you do see anyone up there, do give them a nice wave, because chances are they're more than likely lost. And as you'll see, there's literally about 5 people walking on the bridge at the moment. Just before the next bridge to the right, in the corner, there's a pub with red windows. My favourite pub, the Anchor Tavern of Bankside. That's one of the oldest pubs on the banks of the River Thames. It is said that William Shakespeare himself, he had a changing room in that Anchor Tavern when he was performing at the nearby Rose and Globe theatres. That pub is also where you'll find me in 3 hours and 30 minutes when I finish work. That is one of the pubs that I love to go to. It allows me to conduct all of the vital and critical research that I do for these commentaries for you guys. Some nights I will be researching in there for about 4 hours. You're more than welcome to come and join us about 8 PM onwards. If you look to the right, dominating the skyline, the Shard of Glass, London's tallest building, stands just over 1,000 feet tall. Offices, apartments, restaurants, a 5-star Shangri-La hotel, swimming pool and observation platforms. The next bridge in front of us, this is London Bridge. This is it. London Bridge. There's a few puzzled faces. As you get closer to the bridge, just look to the left and they wrote the name on it, if you don't believe me. This is it, London Bridge. Been a London Bridge on this site since the Roman era. So this is the 5th London Bridge to span the river at this point. The previous one, makes a nice photo. Yeah, the previous one got sold to an American company for £1 million. Got taken down stone by stone, shipped off to America, where it got re-erected over the man-made lake, which is Lake Havasu on the edge of the Arizona desert. But once we head through this bridge, if you look to the left, between the next gap in the buildings, in a moment, between the gap in the buildings, you will be seeing Sir Christopher Wren's monument to the Great Fire of London, which is a wax can. Where is it? There it is. Stands 202 feet tall. Lay it down in the direction we are travelling, it would reach a little baker's shop in Pudding Lane, where the Great Fire of London is said to have started. Also on the left, the blue building with the windows, that's the headquarters of London's Window Cleaning Association. When all the trainees, when they graduate from there, they get to go to the Shard, back on the right. If you look back to the left, behind the trees, this white building, behind the trees, in the middle, it's got a clock face. Above the clock face on the roof, there's 6 small black chimneys. Waterguard House. Waterguard House is home to His Majesty's Customs and Excise. Any illegal contraband seized at the border being smuggled into this country, it does find its way to the basement of that building where it's supposed to be incinerated. I've lived in London over 30 years. I've never seen a puff of smoke come out those chimneys once. I did hear they have some fantastic Christmas parties that last up to about 2 weeks apparently. Your next point of interest is here on the right hand side. You may or may not see it. It's painted in camouflage. There's a large warship on the right. This is the HMS Belfast, the heaviest of the lightweight cruisers. It's permanently moored here as a museum to British Naval Sea Power, open 7 days a week. There was actually doing some filming on there earlier. You'll see some sailors dressed up on the other side, just back to the right there. There's probably still doing some filming now as we speak. So if you're not meant to be, if you're with someone you're not meant to be with today, it's probably the ample time to look away. Yeah. So to the left, the Tower of London, the bloody tower. Unfortunately, from the river, we can't always see the bloody tower, because it's behind the bloody trees. The construction started there in 1078 by William the Conqueror. William the Conqueror. In its time, that's for the centre keep, the part in the middle. In its time, it's been a palace, a fortress, a prison, a mint, a menagerie. It's famous for housing the crown jewels now. So in a moment, we're just going to turn the boat. Right, we'll turn the boat around. We'll turn the boat to the left. Tower Bridge will be on the right. We'll turn it nice and slowly. Get some photos of Tower Bridge as we turn the boat. We'll get some lovely photos. You're welcome to stand up, grab it. Alright, just be careful as we turn, it can rock a little bit. Once you've got a few photos, ladies and gents, if you wouldn't mind just sitting down, just so other people can have a chance as well. But Tower Bridge, so it's known as the gateway to the City of London. Completed in 1894. On its opening ceremony, the bridge itself, it actually failed to operate, and a sailing vessel actually hit the bridge. Since that day, it has been registered with Lloyd's of London. Registered with Lloyd's, it comes with the complement of a captain, an engineer and first officer. Only takes about 30 seconds for them to open Tower Bridge once they get it open. This Sunday coming will be the only day of the year that they will not open Tower Bridge, right? This Sunday is the day of the London Marathon. It's the only day they will not open Tower Bridge. Personally, I think the marathon would be a bit more interesting if they all have a run at hop, skip and jump in the middle. But that's me personally. But anyway, in a moment, ladies and gents, we're going to make our first stop, Tower Pier. This boat, I've got travel information. This boat is going to Greenwich. If you have a ticket for Greenwich, stay with us. We're the last boat, final boat from City Cruises to Greenwich. If you're going to Big Ben, change boat here. Boarding point B. B for boat. Back to Big Ben. Boarding point B. If anyone has a bus ticket, bus tickets are one way. You'll have to leave us, unfortunately. If you are going to leave, I recommend you stay where you are for the time being, just while we put this boat safely into that pin. Use this opportunity, double check, make sure you have all of your belongings with you. Do not leave anything behind to spoil your day. Cameras